All right. Sorry, kitty cats. Meow meow. Meow meow. All right. I don't even know if I have the things set up I want to set up. Where is it? More sounds. It's not on here? Lame. I wanted the Jeff kitty sound. I don't think it's on here anymore for some reason. It didn't get added. What up? Chris, look at this. What a blessing. What a blessing to have you. Seeking Genuine. I don't know if I know your name. Oh, you added it to my own tab? Are you doing admin stuff? Jess, what a sweetheart. But I'm looking at the media. Okay. I don't really know how to run this. So I'm looking at, oh, I do see it. Background music. It just keeps going. I can't stop it. Okay, that's enough. Good grief. I think PVK is going to show up too, because he just messaged me and said 10 days since my last Luke stream, must be busy. And then what's funny is he said, Sam had asked me if I'm going to make shorts, like YouTube shorts, because that's what the algorithm is pushing now. And PVK said, I imagine the only shorts Luke makes will be cutoffs, which is true. I've been wanting to make some sweet cutoff shorts because I have a local buddy who got some old, I need to find the right thin fabric, kind of like chino khaki type shorts. I think his are old Dickies, and then he had them tailored where they cut off. Just excellent. Because it's hard to find solid summer shorts, kids. But I did find recently, and I ordered some coming up for this summer, 100% wool bathing suits, 100% wool shorts. I might have to get them tailored though, because they're probably a little bit too long. I actually had Grok. I'm going to show you guys this because I had Grok. Sorry, forgive me. Forgive me for doing this. I've had people, my wife always thinks it's a funny thing. Oh, I should add one in. I'm going to show you guys this because I had, you can make songs from shorts. Luke's are terrifying. I don't know which shorts you're talking about. My video shorts. Oh, is that like a little kitty coming out of a box? But I have people people love to comment on my appearance or my clothes or whatever. And probably part of that is because I don't just wear gray tones and I'm always changing the way that I look. So that's probably part of it. Facial hair, haircuts, you know. But people have told me that I look like Chezi. By the way, I'm going to talk about some videos I've watched recently. Jacob Fatalecci did a live stream last night. Old Ches dog was there. And Yoav, Cool Kid Kirk. Who else was there? There's some younger cat. I didn't know. There's a couple younger guys. One atheist, self-identifying queer person who popped on, who likes to just go on and argue with religious people. Seems like all the dude does all day is play video games. and argue with religious people online, which makes me feel like he should be doing some other shit, like getting a job or going to school or something. But, whatever, each their own. But I wanted Jacob. I was very, this will get to my eventual talking, the thing behind the thing behind the thing. But I thought Jacob did a really good job talking to this queer atheist thing. We'll get there, Mark. We'll get there, my friend. Yes, you will have to endure an hour of nonsense. Look at Claire. I'm twitching and jerking around. Look it. But yeah, this is part of it. This is the play. This is actually something that brings me joy. If I was serious all the time, I'd be depressed. I think I've been too serious. That's something I was thinking recently, because I've gotten a little tizzy. Like I got a little upset with yeah, I know. This is why I say I don't need cocaine. I'm kind of like this all the time, except at night. I'm pretty docile at night. I'm pretty quiet. Except I am classically extroverted, I think, where if I get around people, like especially if I've had a beer or something, I'm just like, let's go to bed at 8 o'clock. That's why I don't stream at night very much, and because I'm busy doing family stuff. But yeah, I get very tired at night, except if I'm like at a party and around people, and then I get, especially if it's people that I'm excited to talk to, then I get fired up. But yeah, I don't need drugs. I don't need cocaine. No, I didn't ban her. I did not ban Claire from the chat. I don't think. And I mean, unless an admin did that. I did not do that. I did boot her from the stream once when she was disobeying the rules. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, not banned. Shit. Oh yeah, I haven't been playful. I got like I feel like I got a little moody the other day with Nick, our own Nick, our very own Nick Freerillian, in a Signal chat, because and that's a lot of the that's probably a lot of this, the impetus for this stream and the idea about it and the thing behind the thing. And in the description, I say, like, am I a hypocrite? And I think I am in some degree, or I'm not yet who I want to be, because and I don't treat people fairly, and I judge people for things that I myself do, as Jesus said. And when I want to not do that. But if one of the short version of it, the short version of the thing behind the thing behind the thing is that I don't think Gregory of Nyssa said something like salvation is moving from a state of having to a state of being. Or Master Eckhart said something like salvation is not so much one of addition, but of subtraction. It's the dying off of the false self to reveal the true self, I think. The image of God. And I think that I think sometimes when you're too serious and you're taking yourself too seriously, that can be a pointer that you're in the realm of having versus being. And you're not operating in the realm of the world as gift, where God gives, God takes away. God gave me this, I'll just get rid of it. I'll give it to you. I don't need this stuff. I don't have this stuff. They're not my possessions. I'm not greedy. Whatever God has given me, I freely give to others. I think that's the realm in which to operate. And when you're being really serious, there's a weird it's too much earth, not enough heaven, or it's too much gravity, not enough levity. And I was getting too serious, taking myself too seriously, which I think is really pride, Uh, yeah, dude. Good to see you, by the way, buddy. I messaged you, my wife. I messaged you on Discord, but so anyhow, I got pissy with Nick about something. I don't even remember what it was. I tend to forget this. Like even with fights with my wife, I never, and I'm a very much a meaning vibe person, as you can guess. My wife is actually a big accuracy person. And so very often she will remember all these details of some argument that we've had, and I don't remember any of that. I just remember be, being sad and hurt or hurting someone else or whatever. I'm not very good at accuracy stuff. So anyhow, that a lot of that we'll get back to it. We're circling in. This is Notes from a Tilt World. We'll circle in and then we circle big and then we circle back and we're coming back. We're moving in and out. We're circumambulating the topic of the stream, but we're moving in and out. Now we're going to jump back to Jacob's stream that I already mentioned with our boy Chizzy. So we had this young 20-year-old whatever queer kid came on, and I thought Jacob like spoke to him great. Like he handled it fantastically. This kid would have annoyed me. I would have just been like, sometimes I can do this, and it's not. Maybe it's because I have teenagers. Maybe it's because I have whatever. But it's also true, and you need to not be overly harsh or judgmental of youth because people are just young. But it's just like you're 20 years old. What the hell do you know? Like you just if you're 20 years old going around, and I did it. I mean, I guess I did it. Telling people what to think about the world. Try getting a job. Try cleaning your room. Try volunteering. Try finding a partner. Try getting married, having kids, all of that. Grim popped into the stream to talk about enmity of the womb. Chezi and Jacob talked about procreation. It was great, but Jacob was just very gentle with this kid and just asked questions and didn't go after him, whereas I would have probably, and this is also because I've been in more of a serious mode where I would have just probably jumped all over this kid. I can get really moody, and I don't like the fact that I'm moody, which brings us to another topic I want to talk about. Oh, we got to do the Grok thing too. I'll show you guys the Grok thing. So we're coming back. We'll fill in all the pieces and the puzzles and the things that I mentioned. We're coming back. So very often people will tell me, they'll comment on my appearance, or very often if I'm like working out or running or something, people will shout out something to me as I'm running. Also, it's not always their fault either, because this is very true. As my priest said once, my now retired priest saw me on a run once as he was driving in his car, and I very often in the summer I run in just like little like runner shorts. I would totally just run in tights too, like girls do, just like little booty leg short tights. But sometimes my legs rub together, and then shirtless because listen, I'm getting the sun. I need the sun. So maybe that's why people comment on me, because I'm not out there like needily looking. Here's the thing. I'm not like what's the term? I mean, I am probably in like the Pete Holmes sense when he talks about relationships. Relationships often have like a look at me and they have a there you are. In my relationship, I'm definitely the look at me. My wife is not that way at all. My wife is like, there you are. I see you. I will ask questions about you. I don't need any attention. I don't want any attention. I don't want you to ask. I mean, if you ask questions about her, it's okay. But she's just like, I don't need any of that. A huge difference in us that I talk about with her is that I have a deep desire for people to see me and to know me. My wife doesn't have it at all. It's unbelievable to me that she does not desire to be seen. Like, it just boggles my mind. I'm just like, I don't know how to do that. But anyhow, so I run around in the summer without clothes on, and then my priest was just like, I am not, he stopped and talked to me, and he's just like, I'm not really familiar with seeing my parishioners half naked. But I was more than half naked. I was probably like 85% naked. Listen, I'm getting sun. It's vitamin D. It's natural. It's just the way it is. It's fine. But sometimes people will comment. So that reminds me, we're going back to Grok of just like, they'll comment on, encourage me or say whatever, or say I look like someone. But I've had different people say that I look like different celebrities in my life. This is, no cap, no BS. This is just true. So these are, oh shoot, Google Chrome would like to record this computer screen and audio. Can I not just share the screen without doing stuff? Am I sharing it now? Does this work? Okay. So, people I look like random celebrities often. So these are people that people have told me that I look like. Once, actually, when my family and I were in Italy, this guy on a bus said that I look like Chris Hemsworth, which I don't really think so that much. This guy is Whitford. I spelled it wrong. This is someone who my friend Mitch said I look like, or not look like, but remind him of, which he's not really. This guy definitely looks like Billy Crudup. Who's like an actor that people, someone have said that I look like him, but my wife said it's only when I don't have a mustache, because it's something about his mouth and his smile. It's like his smirkingness. I look like Billy Crudup. And then Bradley, he's on, let's, here, just wait. Let's take this down for a second, and then let's go to, he's on West Wing. Mitch said that I look like him. Bradley Whitford. I think he was also on like Billy Madison, wasn't he? You guys know who I'm talking about? This guy. But like he's older now. But when he was on, Billy Madison, right? I can't remember who he is on Billy Madison. It's been a long time since I've seen Billy Madison. But this is when he was younger. Mitch said it's more like when he was on West Wing. So he's like this age. It's more just like his energy and his vibe. I can't remember Mitch. Mitch, are you out there? Anyhow, he said I reminded him of him. So there we go. This feels very self-indulgent. Sorry. This is... Okay, here we also need to do a pause where I need to say another thing that I was thinking about. We'll get back to the Grok thing. Is what is the guy's name? Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson, Manosphere guy. Although I don't think he's really Manosphere. The more I listen to Chris Williamson, I think he's pretty intelligent, pretty insightful, pretty empathetic. Interesting guy. I think he asks really good questions and listens well and works hard. Like he's a grinder. He had on Rick Glassman, who's a guy that I really like. Recently, let me pull it up. Look at that. Sam just uploaded a video. What is biblical Unitarianism in under 5 minutes? Look at you, Sam. Good for you, buddy. He's trying to like do the kind of shorty shorts thing. Okay, I'm gonna share this other screen because I want to talk about this video, and then we'll get back to Grok a little bit. Here's my watch history. I need to not be embarrassed. The case against Wanda.
Wow.
What's
that?
Shut up. And fake friendship. I'm not totally done with it. I'm actually way past that. I'm probably like, what section am I in? I don't know. I'm like 3/4 of the way through it. But this conversation is fantastic. Not that kind of grinder. He's just like he's like a grinder of like get stuff done. He actually talks about it in this video where he says and I relate to this a little bit, although I'm not that industrious, where he said that he starts off every day feeling like he's almost at a detriment. So like he's like, if I don't work this hard, accomplish this many things, like I might feel like I ended the day at a deficit. And so it's a very self-critical, self-judging, the gospel just try harder thing where it's just like, that's hilarious, JD. I always thought you look and sound a little bit like my cousin if he was straight, but still into crystals and theater. Yeah. Theater's awesome. Big fan of musicals. Yeah, not gay at all. On the Kinsey scale, we're coming back. But this is just another video that I really liked because it's the reason about it is we were talking about Grok images. People say that I look like celebrities. People often comment on my appearance, which can feel pretty self-indulgent. But I really related this conversation because the way that Rick Glassman's mind works, and I'm not exactly that way, but I'm very similar to him in a lot of ways in that I'm always thinking about what other people are thinking and doing psychoanalysis and how am I being perceived and what are they thinking and are they which I'm getting better at because like Rick said at some point in here, I left the comment, like, let's see. Okay. I got what did it say? Yeah. At 50/20, the whole back and forth starting at 50/20, which gets into psychology and the experience of how are you is so perfect. This is how I think. And then what Rick says at 53/14, amen. Can I play this without, can I just play that part without getting, I'll have to put it in the YouTube thing afterwards. I'm just going to play that part because I loved it. I'm going to play that part. Let's try it. Okay, sorry.
Fucking one thing that makes me think about the dog walking scenario. I lived in New York for a month this summer, and I thought it was so brilliant. I've never been there before, and there was a like classic New York dog park on the Upper East Side, like East 83rd Street, and it's when you're talking about the dog walking thing, it just makes me think about that. It's like fall, it's sort of walking, and there's a strip of 100 yards. It's not big. It's New York. 100-yard bit where someone might have a conversation for 90 seconds in that. One thing that you do have as part of this sort of mutually aware, I know that you know that we have the time, that it can't be the thing.
I already know what you're saying.
You need to know that if you open up the fucking chasm of, well, you know, recently actually my sister, or like you say a thing and they're like, so what's going on with you? If you give that, it's like, oh, well, no, let me tell, and you go, I didn't want to lie and just say, good, how are you? But also I do not have the time to invest to be able to tumble down this fucking rabbit hole, this Alice in Wonderland cathedral of bullshit down here in order to have the conversation that would be truthful. So
yeah, sorry, the F-bombs. Forgive me, OG. This is like my dad. My dad could never watch something like this because he's just like, why are they swearing? Why are they saying the F-bombs? I don't know, because they are. Just, and part of me wants to just be like, and I'm not saying this to you, but to my dad, I was just like, what I want from him is like, just get over it. It's fine. Just let it, like, if you lock into that, you're going to miss the point. And like, it's fine. You can have the opinion that you can have the opinion, I wish you'd swear less. Fine. Great. But like, it's like, don't miss the ocean. What is it? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There you go. I was going to say, don't miss the forest for the trees, or don't miss the trees for the forest, but you get it, you know.
Sometimes I think the social mores are there almost in the same way as like that is, or waving somebody across a junction. It's even less information than you think it is.
What is that with the less information?
How are you doing? I'm good. How are you?
Right.
Fine, thanks. Like that is, it's almost the same as flashing somebody across with your lights in a car.
When people say how you doing and I don't want to talk about it, I say hi back.
I love Rick too, because a lot of this conversation is that Rick, I think he realized he's autistic, or he says he's autistic, and he realized for a lot of his life that he thought he had a lot of friends, but he didn't actually have friends because he just took people at their word, but he didn't. It's almost as if he's so authentic and honest and real and just says what he really thinks that he thought other people were that way. And so when people would say things to him, which to us are just kind of like social niceties or whatever, he just thought they were genuine. Like he tells a story in this where he had some friend where he'd go to some kid's house and he would have stuff that he'd like, and he would just ask, like, can I have that? And his friend would say, sure. You know, kind of like Minnesota nice, social niceness. And then that just happened a few times. And he realized that kid eventually later on in life, he realized that kid actually resented him. And he's like, he didn't want to give him all that stuff. And he's like, well, why didn't you just say you didn't want to give me all the stuff then? But like, but he's like that a ton, but like he has like this superpower insight into people's perspectives and just being honest in conversations. Like what he did right there, and they've talked about the whole conversation up until now. But because Chris Williamson is giving this situation, like he's telling you that sometimes when you have you have a short period to interact with somebody and somebody asks you a certain question, you don't really have the time to get into it. And so then the real honest answer there is like, and Rick will say this in a little bit, he'll just be like, here's what I kind of think about that a little bit, but I don't have time to get into it. And that's like the really honest answer. It's hard for me because this whole section is about the question of like, how are you? How you doing? You know what Chris Williams just said. And very often I feel the exact same way. I feel the exact same way with this question is like, and I will do very often what Rick does is I would just be like, do you really want to know? Really? Like, do you really want to know how I'm doing and what I'm thinking about? Or I'll say something like big picture, I'm okay, but I experience a lot of emotions compared to most people. Like one of the ways that I knew that I was an Enneagram 4 on the Enneagram is one of the tells of an Enneagram 4 is that it says, you're an Enneagram, or you either know you are an Enneagram 4 or you aren't an Enneagram 4 where it says like an Enneagram 4 will experience more emotions in an hour than you experience all day. Because it's just like, boom, you're just feeling lots of things, deep feelers all the time. And so when someone asks me like how I am, I'll say it totally depends on the moment. Like I might feel, that's kind of why people can even sense almost that I have kind of a manic energy, because I do a little bit, but also it's just because I'm very excitable. Like my big 5 personality is like 98th percentile enthusiasm. Like I can be very excitable, but I can also be super chill and quiet. Like I could probably come across as very introverted because like when I'm around a bunch of people with small talk, if I don't particularly feel like being empathetic and making you feel really comfortable, I just will be like, I won't say anything. And that's just because I'm probably not interested. Rick talks about that a lot in here too, but the how are you question is fantastic. Let's get back to it because I don't want to, I could do a whole podcast on like this conversation, the how are you conversation, but I just want to play this little part, which is about 3 minutes. Let's keep going.
And sometimes if it's not is in passing, how you doing? I'm in a little bit of a mood. I don't want to get into it, but I'm okay. Like just laying in.
See, like that to me, someone like that thing makes me just love Rick Glassman, because someone who has enough, I don't know, call it what you will, emotional intelligence or self-perspective, self-awareness to just be like, when somebody asks him how you're doing, he wants to be empathetic. He doesn't want to be an asshole to you, to just be like, he's just like, I'm doing okay, but I really don't want to get into it. So he's like, he's aware of all these different social cues and rules. He wasn't growing up, but he's learned to become aware of them and then how to interact with people in a way that feels authentic or integral. He can maintain his integrity in how to interact with people, which is just like, so few people do that. So few people. Like I love it.
No, that's where I've like discovered where I could feel like I'm satisfying your rules while not compromising mine. And by rules, I just mean way of life,
differences.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's the kissing on a first date. Is it like, are you good? Thanks. How are you? Or are you just not wanting to get into it? Going in for a first kiss is constantly a scary thing. My reaction to that type of fear isn't the same as it used to be, but that's still, there's that moment of like, do you want to be doing this? And I feel that way.
See, like that's the thing. I feel like in social interactions with people, And this probably isn't surprising anybody who watches this, because like even in my monologues and doing all this, where Claire says where I just blather on about nothing for an hour and she wants to get to the substance, like the real things. This is it. This is the real stuff. This is, this is what we're here for. But like when I'm talking to someone, I have like in the midst of a conversation, part of it is an effort of work on me, because I want to be present with people. And Rick talks about being present in here, like even with his comedy, his whole goal with comedy, he says to be present, because he's like, if I'm not, because I want to be funny, but he's like, my greatest chances of being funny is being present. And so my goal really then is just to be present, because then that's the greatest likelihood that I'll be funny. Because if I'm thinking like, oh, I want to be funny, you're divorced from the moment and you're not present. And then your chances of being funny aren't really that true, because it's a dance with the audience. And if you're not present, you're probably not gonna be funny. And that's something, and I relate to that so much. And so in conversations, I can just go a mile a minute, where I'm thinking 1,000 thoughts of like, what are you thinking? How am I thinking? How should I react here? What should I be doing? And like the conversations that are most satisfying for me are, and this probably is even at the thing behind the thing behind the thing, are the ones where I'm just present. I'm in the flow. It's very akin to like what Ethan Hawke said about films or making films, or when I watched this absolutely stellar movie Hamlet, which I'm so excited to watch again, Hamnet, because it's beautiful, is like when you are enraptured, even in love, I think the reason people love that feeling of falling in love or going in for a kiss or something is like when you are really, or dance or anything, when you are really fully present in the moment, you get unity and multiplicity. Like in a stage theater, in a really great play, in a musical, in a sporting event, a football team, a basketball team, when everything comes together in flow perfectly, the many become one. In a marriage, when husband and wife are reacting perfectly, and then when it's consummated fully the two become one. Actually, that love is manifested in other. And that is like at the core of being itself, of God, I think, as a Trinitarian. And so like that presence is important, but it's really hard, especially for people that have hyperactive minds and that have a high capacity for abstract analysis. It can monkey mind, I think, yeah, Marky Parker and Ron were just talking about that, because it's a big Buddhist idea or a mindfulness thing, is monkey mind. You're just going 1,000 miles a minute, and it's really hard to be present. And like, how are you doing is such a thing. And I try to just be really present with people. Like even when I go to the grocery store, how are you doing? And I'll just be like, depending on the mood, I'll say like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I'm all right. Or I'm doing average, because average is average, and that's an okay statement. Or you can say like, big picture, things are great, but right now I'm feeling kind of moody. I'm feeling bummed, Anyhow, let's keep going. Let's get through this.
I recognize it right now. Like, I'm not worried by this, but you and I have made a commitment to talk for 60 to 120 minutes. And whether or not you think this is going well, you're going to continue. So
is he continuing because he feels like he has to?
But it's not a worry. It's just an awareness of it. So like, it is what it is. And that's what being a professional is.
The emotion from that.
By knowing.
Okay, this part is what I thought was so good. Like this, what he says here is spot on. Like even that, I would be doing the exact same thing. If somebody invited me on a podcast like this, it was this formal. TLC, it's a lot more informal. It's just chill and we're going to talk and whatever. But like if I was going on a formal podcast where it's like, okay, usually they go 90 minutes. This is what's going on. I would be thinking those thoughts. I would just be like, is this person enjoying themselves, or are they really just trying to slog through this because they know they have to do 90 minutes? I often think that about like Rogan's podcast, because you can tell sometimes, and Rogan's pretty good at it, of making it interesting no matter what. But sometimes you can tell it's like a slog, because sometimes he'll go like Rogan's gone. I mean, some of his longest podcasts are like over 4 hours, maybe 5. They're rare. Usually they're about 3 hours. And then sometimes there's restrictions because the people like have a limited time period and they have to go on to something else. But like if Rogan's podcast is like an hour and a half, And it's not like a limited time thing where it's some famous politician or something like that. Rogan was probably just like, I don't like you and you're boring as hell. They talk about that in this podcast too. Like Rick will say that. He's just like, if I'm bored with you, because like that happens sometimes. Like if I wasn't as empathetic of a person as I am, there's a lot of times where I would probably be a lot more rude to people because I'd be like, you're boring. You're boring me. Like what you're saying is so dull, you know? And like what's hard for a person like me or for Rick is like you always want to just like, I want to say everything. I want all my cards on the table all the time. I don't want to be hidden. That's my preference. That's my personal preference. I don't like I know the world works in bailing and unveiling. That's the nature of the world. But like I would love to tell everyone my feelings and all the stuff that I'm thinking and have you be fully seen and fully known and you just accept that. That's what I want. But a lot of people don't want that for whatever reason. And I don't think it's like I'm a better for that. I just think other people have different temperaments. Like my wife, my favorite person in the world, very different than me in that way. And she's been a gift to me in learning that lesson. So we're going to go back to the thing, but what they just got done saying is like, oh, there's the podcast. You're going to go 90 minutes. Are you enjoying it? Or are you not enjoying it? And then Chris just asked him, how do you deal with that emotion?
Like it is what it is. And that's what being a professional is.
The emotion from that.
By knowing that I'll never know the answer to it.
That's it.
Well, if you ask, you would.
I don't, whatever you tell me, because I don't know you yet, right, and we're still fucking with condoms, I don't know if you'll be telling me the truth. Are you wanting to, as the host of this show, manage my expectations and feelings to get what you believe is the best out of me?
Or are not demoralizing you by saying, this is a car crash, or this is great.
Or even assuming that that's demoralizing. Some people might want that.
Yeah. Ed from the call again. Like, oh, he told me a little bit. He was like, yeah, actually, we do need to, can we shift you to the left a little bit? Or can we move the fucking hat out or whatever? Oh, he told me something and I suppose this is a...
Too many F-words. All right. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that mainly it. Like the main thing I wanted to show about that is I love that podcast. I really do. Like even the first 10 minutes, I was like, this is amazing. My boy Ian's here. Ian, because I posted about it on X, and Ian was just like, yeah, that was good. I love that kind of self-awareness and relational insight. It is like when I find people that are that tapped in, that self-aware, and then also that relationally aware with other people, I am just, I don't know. And maybe it's a kind of narcissism on my own part because I like that. And so maybe to some point it's like deep calling to deep, but when other people are very tapped in, and I don't know, I guess positively, it's a type of love. Like if you're really tapped into other people, you're wanting to treat them how you would want to be treated if you were them. And that's, that's just, I don't know. That's a strong virtue, All right. Let's finish out the Grok thing quick because I've already been going 40 minutes. Good grief. And then I got to fill out, and then I got to talk about the title, and then we got to go over rules, and then we'll open it up for a little playtime. Little play, kitty, 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 kitty. Let's do a share screen. Let's get back to Grok. So Chris Hemsworth, Billy Crudup, Bradley Whitman, is that who it was? And then who else did I say? Thomas Lennon. So that's the guy. So I went on a double date with my wife and a friend and a guy, and the guy said apparently afterward that I reminded him of that guy. What's his name? Thomas Lennon, he's like the gay cop from Reno 911. You know who I'm talking about? Let's go show that picture because that's funny. Because it kind of is, and that's a callback even to PVK's. Oh, it's so funny. He's this guy. Let me share this screen. You guys know who I'm talking about. Reno 911. This dude. He's got the mustache. He's got the short shorts, which is fantastic. Because I would wear shorts like that. I do wear shorts like that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But so then I added all those people in. However, there is one other person. I guess I'm remembering that I've been that I have been told I look like, who's Tom, yeah, it's Tom Holland, the actor Tom Holland. So then my son was wanting me to add in like a girl by me to see if it looked like my wife. I don't want to do that. Okay. Let's say remove the girl and add Tom Holland, the actor, to the list of persons to make an amalgam. How do you spell amalgam? Amalgam? Let's see what they do. Let's see what they come up with. We're doing this live. No, that is not, you idiots. That is just Tom Holland, you morons. Okay. So it's more like, see, these are like combined images. I mean, it kind of looks like me, doesn't it? A little bit. And then you add in the girl, like add a partner by. That was my son's idea, which looks nothing like me. Okay. No. Add Tom Holland to the, I don't want to do this anymore. Never mind. You guys get the idea. It's fun. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going all over the place. That's just how it works. Okay. Let's go back to the thing behind the thing behind the thing. And am I a hypocrite? Because there's lots of rabbit holes. That's part of the steep slope of my stream and how I'm all over the place. And I forgive you. You know, it's my fault. It's my fault. I failed you, Mike. So what I've realized, so this is one of my self-professions, right? The thing that I want out of people is more a way of being in the world and a process. Even propositionally, the thing that I argue for is, right, even the being versus the having. It's not so much planting your flag like, here I am in regards to self-identity, like I'm Eastern Orthodox, I'm Catholic, I believe in the Trinity, I don't believe in the Trinity, I believe in eternal conscious torment, I believe in universalism, whatever. That's all like planting your flag. That's having. That's a sense of having. That kind of identity is having, which is fine. But to me, it is less important. That kind of planting a flag of like, these are my current convictions is less important than the kind of person who is oriented to God as the truth, who is a relation, who is a person, who is a process. Because I want people who are able to intellectually repent rather than people who are in the exclusivist religion of the right side of history. Like, boom, here I stand, I can do no other. This is what I think now. I will never move. I have like a tribalistic, egoic identity to this set of ideas, which to me is identitarianism and ideology versus an ongoing kind of Socratic dialogue, dialogos, being in relationship to each other, further up and further in, pursuing of the truth together. That's what I profess, right? Again, though, that's my self-identity. I'm professing that I want that kind of process, intellectual repentance. But what I've realized is, like, even when I got mad at my friend Nick, Free Rillian, I don't really want that sometimes. Sometimes I just want to be seen. And sometimes when I don't, when I feel like people aren't understanding what I want, either in regards to like Christology or the doctrine of hell or something, I get really frustrated and I feel like they just don't get it. They just don't get it. But the whole point of it is like, if my self-profession about that process being more important than wherever you're planting your flag, then I don't really get it. Because wherever I am right now is not where I'm going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years, if like the afterlife and all that is real and the process of evolution continues and theosis. And so wherever I am right now and what I'm not being, and however I'm not being seen or understood, ultimately doesn't matter as long as people are willing to be part of that process with me, which to me is the thing behind the thing behind the thing. Because the thing is just like, this is where I am. This is my self-identity. But then the thing behind that is that process of becoming. And then the thing behind that is probably the fullness of union with God. So, can you explain this to me like I'm an 8-year-old? Love and repentance and humility is more important than being understood. Forgiving other people is more important than being understood. I feel like, how do I tell? I feel like StreamYard is like doing some weird AI updating with my eyes. How can I tell that, Jess? Are you still here? Are they? How can I tell if they're doing some weird, like trying to make me look better than I am? I'm not this handsome. How can I tell? It's annoying. I don't want any filters. Are there filters right now? This is stupid. If you're filtering me, I will kill you. Visual effects. Enhanced skin appearance. It's not on, actually. There are no filters. Never mind. I felt like there was around the eyes because I'm getting, sometimes I do this. Where, like when old guys like get this stuff because they're out, they've been in the sun too much and the wind. So that's the thing behind the thing behind the thing. I think I'm feeling better right now. I actually wasn't really. I felt like I had a little bit of an obligation to stream. I kind of wanted to stream today, except I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And sometimes, honestly, talking about the subjects of stuff can be frustrating to me. I get in certain moods where it's frustrating. Although I don't know if I'll ever tire talking about it because, here, I'll put out the thing. First, though, we got to go over rules, right? We got to do rules. Sorry, Sherry. I decided to do rules. And, you can't please everyone. It just is what it is. And Sherry told me she likes to make the rules are just implicit. She said when you make the rules explicit, things happen. But also, I've read St. Paul and Romans, and where the law came in, trespass increased. But, so that all may be found dead under the law, that all may be redeemed through the law or above the law. What does St. Paul say? That God condemned all under the law, that he may have mercy on all. Speaking of universalist texts. But I really like, this is the last thing about the thing behind the thing behind the thing. I'm not so much an ideologue, truly, although I do want to be seen and understood. And I don't feel like I often am on those subjects, but it's probably because I'm not explaining it well enough, or just because what you see and hear depends a lot upon where you're standing and the kind of person you are. Bingo. But it's very much like the Karen Wong at Northwestuary thing where she said, what subject have you studied so much that you realize there's no depth? Hell, the doctrine of hell, and Christology. Christology is deeply connected to like who is Christ, the natures of Christ, all the theology around Jesus Christ, which has to do with Trinitarian theology too, because that also gets at like the person and personalism and the nature of the person. That's there's no depth to that, because that is what Christian theology is about. It's like the particular, the person, the image of God is also infinite. There is no bottom. And those subjects, I've realized there is no bottom. And I've known that for myself, because I've realized as I've studied those doctrines, it's like Vervaeke's cup and looking at the cup from different angles. I've realized, the angle I've been viewing this at isn't the totality of the thing. And so I've learned to look at the cup of the doctrine of hell or Christology from many different angles. And I've had many different conversations about it. And I've realized there's no end to these subjects. And I like those, not as an end in themselves, because they illustrate that point, which is the thing behind the thing, which is like, whatever you think about this subject right now isn't the most important thing. The more important thing, the thing behind the thing, is that you have the kind of relationship with this subject that you can keep dancing with it, keep moving it around, keep looking at it, keep growing, keep evolving. That's the thing that's important about it. Okay, let's talk about rules. The main rules being, I'm going to pull them up from my channel. I feel like I need to figure out a better way how to do this. Channel guidelines. Here we go. Share screen. And then I will put out the link and I will pin the link and then we can play. So welcome to a space to scatter seeds and conserve hospitality. Take some. Because that's really the thing, right? If all we can do is scatter seeds and we don't even know the quality of our own seeds, some of them might be weeds, right? All I can do is scatter the seed and then the meaning can be awakened in you, or it cannot be. It's like the parable of the sower, right? That's what we do. We scatter seeds and people either take them and receive them or they don't. That's on them. It's just how it works. No name calling, Steelman ideas, and Starman persons. Charity in everything. Or what is the Augustine quote? It's just like, love God and love people or something. I don't know. Isn't there some Augustine quote about that? Like where he really simplifies all this stuff. And also, like, I've just realized steel manning's hard. It's hard. And I don't know that it takes a lot of practice. It's like any skill, It's like learning the piano or learning to play guitar or learning basketball. For somebody who's not used to steel manning, it's like the first time they've ever played basketball and they're maybe not that athletic. And it's just like, you suck at basketball. Well, of course, you haven't practiced very much. Steel manning ideas, which is basically, for me to summarize Tim Keller's way of talking about it, is that you haven't really even begun to engage with another person's idea until you can re-articulate their, you're not plagiarizing. You're not just, you are not just repeating, parroting the exact words that they say. You are re-articulating their idea in your own words in such a way that they would say, not only is that my idea, I own that, it's better than I could even say it. Once you're capable of doing that, you're getting to the place where you're actually having what I think is an honest, good faith conversation. Until then, you're just egoically defending your own ideas, probably out of fear or just inability. So that's very important. And then the other thing is star manning persons is assuming the best in the person. Like, don't judge their character or their intentions, because here's the thing. You don't know it. You can project based on social cues and your own experience and whatever, what you think might be going on inside their head and their intentions, but you actually don't know it. They might not even know it themselves. So be charitable. Okay. And then try to listen and ask genuine questions more than you talk. And I will try to moderate that a little bit because, there's variance there. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted, but really try to listen and ask genuine questions, not just rhetorical questions, although rhetorical questions are okay sometimes, and try to not interrupt. I reserve the right to moot and boot. Interruptions are going to happen sometimes, but try not to. And if you show yourself to consistently have a certain kind of character and attitude all the time, I reserve the right to just like not want to deal with it today. And I will just say, okay, yeah, I just don't want to do it today. Sorry. See ya next time. And if you don't like that, like PPK often says, go someplace else or go start your own channel. Those are the things that I'm asking of people in this stream and channel. All right, I'm leaving that site, and then I'm going to my channel, and then I'm gonna pin. Shh, other Luke. Shh. But before we do that, I don't. I'm gonna drop the link, and then we're gonna play some branding. We're gonna play one of Chad's brandings because I only have 2 brandings. If you want to make more brandings for me and give them to me, I will accept them. I will accept your gift, and then I will play them. I will play them on a stream. So let's. I'm gonna put that out, the link, and then I will pin it, and then I will play branding, and then I will come back and see who's here. Let's see, media assets. Let's play this one.
As I was walking down the street, a billboard caught my eye. The things that were upon it would make you laugh and cry. The board was torn and tattered from the storm the night before. The wind and rain had done its job, and this is what I saw. Chew chocolate-covered mothballs, they always satisfy. Drink Wrigley Spearmint root beer, it'll never leave you dry. Smoke Coca-Cola cigarettes or know the reason why. Brush your teeth with dial soap and watch the suds go by. As I recovered from my shock, I went upon my way. I hadn't gone but half a block, and what to my dismay, another billboard caught my eye, and like the one before, the wind and rain had done its job, and this is what I saw. Take your next vacation in a brand new Frigidaire. Learn to play piano in your winter underwear. Simonize your baby with a Hershey's candy bar. Texas Oil, the beauty soap, is used by all the stars. Now doctors say that babies shouldn't smoke until they're 3, and people over 35 should bathe in Lipton tea. And if you want the world to be a better place by far, buy a record of the song and smash it with your car. Hey!
I was still going to the bathroom. Whoa! That was badly timed, wasn't it? Okay. Here we. Oh, hey there. Good morning, little cutie boy. All right, we have some people here. We have some friends. Let's rock and roll. First to the stage. Look at this guy. Reluctant rule follower. You are not even. I mean, you barely follow rules.
That's why I said reluctant. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't follow the estuary protocol. Do you think my rules are good?
And pretty good. I can follow those.
Okay. All right. What's up? What's up, Sam? You were the first to click on the link. It's good to see you. I do want to go through the. Here, I'll prompt you with this. You can just say whatever you want to, but I do want to go through the Hellgate thing and talk about annihilationism and all that kind of stuff, because that might be surprising to people. Like, I love it. All those guys, like, what they're talking about right now isn't universalism. They're talking about annihilationism. But I love that not because I even consider myself an annihilationist. See, even that is evidence I'm not an ideologue. That's not my position. But I love the conversation about it because I think it gets people to realize, once you've had that rug pulled out, because I had that experience. Once I realized there was more to hell than just the traditionalist perspective, I was just
less to hell, really?
Huh?
You mean less to hell than more?
Well, yeah, depending on how you want to look at it. But I was just like, oh, this conversation is so much more complicated than I ever knew, and that's happened to me multiple times, and I think that process is very helpful. So I like that process.
The only problem I have is when I try and watch that Hellgate video, it starts to convince me of eternal conscious torment, mostly because that's how I feel while I'm watching it.
Why is that?
And then it starts to, it's like, I could actually conceive of this being a thing now that I'm in the process of trying to get through that video.
I mean, it's pretty, see, and that is the thing but that's what's so hard about conversations like this, is because you go and look at the comments, and then there's just like the standard comments, which are just like, it's like that bell curve meme where it's just like, they're super triggered. They're probably relatively low intelligence, low study, low reading, and they've just been like, that's not hell, and they just like throw out a verse, and I'm
Or
just like,
they
oh
search
yeah, I've
it
never
for
seen
it.
that verse before. Thank you. But then there are the people who like, oh, I've never heard that before, and that really opened up my eyes to some stuff. And then there's the people like maybe you and I or whatever who've studied the doctrine of hell quite a bit, and you realize like, I mean, the actual substance of what they're talking about is somewhat interesting, but it's pretty low level yet. Like, I mean, it's like you're barely scratching the surface of the topic.
And it's almost more enjoyable from like a sociological perspective
Sure.
at that point when you know more about it than the people on the panel. Not that
Right.
Chris State doesn't know his stuff. Chris State knows his
No,
stuff.
he does. I feel like him and the two annihilationists, like you could tell. I mean, they've definitely studied the topic the most.
I mean,
Which
general rule, the minority position understands the majority better than vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's largely true. Yeah.
In almost any debate.
Yeah. No, it's just an example, Matt. I mean, it's going to be hard for hell to not come up on one of my streams, but it's just an example of the process, the thing behind the thing.
Luke and I are friends because we both care about Christology and what happens to people after they die.
True.
And how to deal with that in respect to church.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah, we probably have a little bit of different opinions on that. You're more of a confessionalist than I am.
Yeah, I confess to being more of a confessional, but I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Ian, what up, buddy? Happy 50th podcast.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Nobody wants to watch it because I put a party hat on the thumbnail, but
I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's not about party hats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do a podcast about party hats?
I mean, I could talk for a while. Growing up in the Peterson sphere, there's like a lot of pretending that you know how to literarily analyze something, like it's pointed because you're worshiping, you're celebrating the highest hierarchical good. So
Nathan, I can hear you typing.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was muted.
No, that's all right. But also, what do you feel like about, what are your thoughts on being present? Because even like I watch you sometimes in streams, and I don't know how much, like you can clearly track multiple things at a time. However, I've also heard that saying of like, there is no such thing as multitasking. There's just doing multiple things poorly. And so like being present I notice this all the time when I'm on streams because I'm very distractible, ADHD, or even like following the live chat, which I feel some obligation to do on my own streams. But I feel like it's hard to be, sometimes I try to just block all that out and be very present and just talking to people. What are your thoughts about being present? Because I feel like you do that too. You kind of track multiple things streaming.
Depends on the context, in my opinion. Some things might demand a lot of attention because you'll like miss something if you're not paying attention. Some things you might be doing them in different contexts. Like right now, I'm like half working whilst listening, so I'm not giving everything everyone's saying like my full attention as they're saying it. But it just kind of depends, right, on the context.
Yeah, I can see that. It's also like somebody put this basketball thing in here and it made me think of that, is like that's a big thing. Here you go, ready, bingo. That's a big thing with Polanyi, subsidiary focal integration, right? You focus on, that's how we work. You focus on something and you repeat stuff until you build habits and neural pathways are built, and then you can unconsciously do certain things so that you can focus on other things, which enables someone to like play piano or ride a bike or play basketball. We're all doing multiple things all the time. Just a lot of them become unconscious. But I don't know if on streams I can I could probably do it better than some people, but I have a hard time like following comments and listening to people. But
it's a bit different if you're hosting, I think, as well, because you have to kind of track the chat and the conversation and kind of manage the conversation, and then you're looking at the chat to see if people are tracking what people are
Right.
saying and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
I need to watch if Claire is saying things so I can nanny her, because I'm an insecure, weak man. And hey, later. Now this is the time where we tell. Okay, so it snowed. It was rained and then snowed, so it was like heavy, nasty, not fun snow in Minnesota recently. And I shoveled the driveway, and then I also, my son's car, I actually scraped all his windshield and stuff. This is virtue signaling, because I'm a wonderful father, and but also, Claire, also simultaneously, am I not enabling him and crippling him and infantilizing him because I scraped his windshield, you know? But this is where I wonder, I'm looking to see if he even notices. Will he notice? We'll see. We'll see if he notices. I mean, he's clearly at the car, so he's noticing, but we'll see if he like texts me and says, "Oh, thank you, Papa. You're the best."
Don't count on it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Luke, I wanted to talk about authenticity. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to jump off because I'm on my phone and StreamYard can't do two things, and I'm working and I have to use my phone. So
Got it.
So you were talking and you were laying out all this stuff, and you talked about like being naked in front of your priest, but 85% naked, not all the way, and the important parts were covered, so that's good.
If your
And
priest gets naked in front of you, though, inform the authorities.
That's right.
yes,
That's
yes.
a one-way street.
Okay, but allegorically, like this is a strange thing where confessionalism is a sort of like in lieu of nakedness, let's all ascribe to the same thing so that we can know, even though we have our clothes on, or maybe especially because we have a certain set of clothes on, we're all grouped up together, where in our nakedness we're very unique and individual and all of these things. And maybe that's only making sense to my brain, but I'm just saying vulnerability and authenticity don't tend to fit in our institutional settings, and so we actually go in the opposite direction of like church as covering, you know.
Yeah.
This is what people think, and so I'm wondering about like the benefits of a covering of some sort,
Right.
Although that phrase usually means like somebody to tell you what your doctrine is and what you confess to, but it's like I cannot participate within an institution with that mindset. So like all of them are off the table if I have to confess to something that somebody else is telling me to think.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to have the vulnerability and the authenticity of something like that, but I'm not so sure that's even the goal or what's possible or offered through institutions. So I was thinking about Jesus and what he said about stuff like this and couldn't come up with anything good. And then I drove past a church on my way to Walmart that had one of those like signs, and it just said 6, 7 ? And I was like, guys, because the whole point of that board is to like get people to come be a part, start confessing your thing. And I'm like, you're trying to tap into, it's like tweeting on popular posts, you know, you'll comment on an Epstein thing because everybody's talking about it, right? But it's like, why don't you have like a way of talking or a way of being that isn't just trying to rip people's attention off of something that they're already paying attention to? Jesus attracted people and then pushed them away, actively pushed them away. He wasn't looking for cultural tricks and marketing skills to try to draw people in. He was like actively confusing people because he didn't want to bring the wrong people to him, because that's more of a curse than it is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So like Jesus was leaving people with these questions. And if you're the type of person that can set the phrases that Jesus said down, set them aside and just live your life, then I think you're like more blessed than anyone. But the type of people that Jesus is drawing to him are the troubled people that keep turning the phrases over in their mind, and they just can't, like, what does he mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he means this, maybe he doesn't mean that. But anyway, so I thought of that. I put it in the chat because I wanted to remember, but it's like invitational authenticity, or it's the wrong direction. It's the wrong direction, but it's like he is inviting you to be authentic in participation with his mystery, you know? And I think that's the way that God works, you know, like to say something very, you know, succinct.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
No, I like that. So as you were talking, the idea that I got, I'm looking for your comment, but I can't find it.
It was just invitational authenticity.
Yeah. So I think that's true to some level. To bring in like a Jonathan Peugeot idea, I think that's what confessionalism is. It's a garment of skin. It's a covering over what you really are. And I think that's the difference between kind of a confession or meaning, because meaning is always deeper. Meaning is the more intimate, naked thing, because like when you read a confession and you ask someone, what does that mean? Here we got an ad for Yerba Madre. And you ask someone what that means, that will be different for every person, unless they're just regurgitating a rote response, which in a sense, that's still a garment. That's still a covering. And to your point, though, I think there is some degree where I think those confessional coverings are or can be a good, because maybe people aren't ready for that level of invitational authenticity of what this really means. Like maybe they're not ready to wrestle with that kind of thing. Like even the hell topic, that to some degree there's wisdom in, like Peugeot says, not unsettling and I don't want to do this necessarily, the like comfortable grandma who doesn't need to wrestle with these questions. Like not everyone has to. The particular way that I like to operate in the world, and this comports with, I think, my understanding of even Christology and what a person isn't identical to everyone else. That's the identical replicant thing. And I don't think that's how it all is. So I think sometimes those confessional coverings protect people from stuff they're not ready for. It's kind of the same way that I've heard Peter Rollins talk about, or the way that I've begun to start thinking of coping mechanisms is, I used to think of them as a weakness because, like I said, I want everything to be out on the table and open and honest and everybody know everything. Like sometimes people at church would say to me, it's like, what if all your sins were just displayed on the PowerPoint out front? And I'm like, good, fucking let's go. Let's all do it. Like, let's just all know our deepest, darkest secrets and we can stop hiding and bullshitting each other. Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. Let's rock and roll. But that's not...
It's like the exposure therapy thing, right? Like if you expose somebody to something and they're unwilling, then they don't grow more accustomed to it. They need to be at least partially willing, and you incrementally increase the dose, something like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to Paul Allen for an episode that'll come out in a while. And at the end, that was the big revelation. We were talking about the universal basic institution idea, and I just came to the conclusion like, oh, yes, you need people participating within the institution. Obviously, you can't just have some nebulous institution. But then that means you need to have people that are growing into the type of people who are mature enough to operate the institution in a healthy way, that then can also help guide or grow people beneath them into those positions of maturity. Otherwise, it's not healthy and it falls apart. And so that idea of like helping people to mature is super important. People always talk about this, right? Like you need a Paul and you need a Timothy. But if it's just some sort of like, that old guy goes to coffee with me and we talk about doctrine and confessions that are like confessionalism type things, then it all falls apart. This is my, the restoration of names idea from Jordan Hall. That's a beautiful way of putting it. But I can't talk to people because of the words that they use and what they're actually describing. My mother-in-law is a beautiful believer in Jesus and lover of souls. And she and I connected when I was very new to Christianity because I was like learning the language. So I was jargoning with her. And then as I grew to as I discerned maybe what some of these words were actually being applied to, I was like, oh, wait, I don't want to say that word anymore because you're talking about something that is not genuine or not authentic. And not to me, but like, I feel, it's the worst part of ontology is like, I think it's ontological, but like, if you don't, then what are we talking about?
But that's kind of that's that meme, right? Of
yes,
of like the dummy the midwits, and then like the sage guru genius is like the dummies and the sage say the same thing.
Yes.
But like one can be to be charitable on the like dumb side of the bell curve. It's like it can be a kind of naivete innocence where it's just like you don't realize the full scope of it, but like it's fine. Like it's a genuine thing. The people that I have issue with typically are like the motivated ignorance people, the people on the low side of the curve or the midwit side of the curve who like should be knowing better. It's like St. Paul. It's just like, you're still drinking milk and you should be on to steak. Like what you're saying is bullshit and you should know better. But like eventually you'll get back to the side of the curve, which is kind of that whole idea of the spiral where like you say the same things. Like I saw some comment that was exactly this on like that Hellgate talk where it was like, you know, I'm just thankful, you know, that Jesus saved me from hell and that I'm going to be with him someday and have, you know, it's just some comment like that. Whereas like, depending on the person, like somebody might say that to me and I'll just be like, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. Then, or somebody would say that same thing and I'd just be like, yeah, amen. You know, that's very true. Good, great.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, that's you, Nathan. Sorry.
It's all right.
No, it's all right.
Get triggered. It's okay.
Claire, come in here. Claire, listen. I need a woman's voice in here, and I need to be scared of someone. Come in here and tell me why I'm wrong about everything. You know, and listen, my wife said it was okay. I asked her before, could I talk to Claire? Is it okay if I talk to her? And she gave me permission because I'm a weak, scared man, Claire.
Well, I want to say, so Luke, when I said that I was potentially thinking about making shorts, you said, you know, rage against the algorithm or whatever like that. But I happen to notice that you put out shorts before I did.
Well, part of that is because there's two reasons for that. I put out the one short. Part of that is because CBAX is always convincing me to make friends by unjust means and to just like engage in certain stuff. Because like if you're really, I am a bit of an evangelist, you know, there is part of me that I do this for play and for fun, but also like I'm also trying to model to people how, I mean, not in my exact way, but how to talk to people about the whole idea of like the thing behind the thing, how to realize these topics really have no depth and to engage with people charitably so that you can learn that and you can grow and evolve together. And I'm trying to model that. And so if shorts are the way to get people to the channel, to engage more people and talk to more people, great. So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is my daughter really wanted me to start out a live stream, but I said in a short because apparently it's some meme thing where you say, "What's up, YouTube?" Which apparently is like a thing. So she wanted me to do that on a video. So I did.
That's very sweet.
Thank you.
I don't think I'm about to do that one though.
I
don't know what the youths these days are doing. What also is true is I think we TLCers have forgotten that we're not the young kids on the playground anymore.
No.
There are whole new generations of internet culture that have come into existence since we've been doing this that we don't understand. Well, I speak for myself. I don't understand. Maybe Luke understands because his kids are older than mine. But
Sam, were you not an old soul? I feel like I've been old my entire life.
Yeah.
I was, and I can't remember who I told this to, but I said at some point I realized when people said that I was an old soul, what they meant was you are bad at being a child.
I often liked hanging out with my friends' parents. Sometimes more than my friends. Yeah.
And I feel like part of that is I've actually become cooler as I get older because I was bad at being like 17.
So you're coming into it. It's no longer a fit.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Our best days are still ahead of us, David.
Yeah.
We'll be cool pretty soon. Pretty soon we'll like hit our stride.
Yeah, when I'm 80, this cardigan will make even more sense.
I've just embraced where I am because I don't know how. Nathan, you're still in your 20s. You like mid 20s, right?
I'm 29 now, so
Oh, geez,
blend.
you're getting to be like an old dude.
When TLC started, Nathan was young.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I suppose that is true. I don't. It's like now. So I'm in a part of the Signal chat that originally Chad started. So it's just like all these.
You're not allowed to be in Signal chats without me.
Yeah. Well, you're the main one in this other one who has like there's all these younger TLC dudes in it. And I seriously, I don't like, number one, there's way too much. Like I told these guys the other day, and I felt that was when I was in my moody or asshole thing where I was like, I genuinely don't know how you guys have jobs. If I paid attention to just this chat and the text, if I like read it all and engaged with it all, it would take up over 50% of my day. I don't know how you do it and have jobs. Like it's kind of unbelievable to me. But the point is that besides the shade, the point was I don't understand. Like even if I try to engage a lot of the times, they've just gotten into like younger Zoomer memes and things and references where I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about 75% of the time. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
Are all generations this like what's the word? Opaque to each other?
I think there's some similarities always, but I think that what you're getting at there, that sense of like generational alienation, is also something that drives people in my generation to be quite frustrated when either theology pertains to political topics or political topics come up, because a lot of the people in my generation are working, right? And then some of the claims I make will be specific to the UK. But like paying the tax burden, unable to start families and buy homes because people who got in when houses were much cheaper are now just living off their pensions, you know, their 5-bedroom homes and things like that. And then we're like working, doing stuff. And then there's a bunch of these people who do nothing, but then paint the younger generation as if, you know, they're all woke and just care about their pronouns and things. Meanwhile, we're working in an economy that's so much more competitive than any of them could even get buy-in. And it's like just there's so many like levels of frustrating hypocrisy and lack of understanding in things generationally that I think drive a lot of the frustrations and resentments between people.
Katie and I, that's my wife, we're watching War Horse, and I didn't like it, but they're supposed to be like dirt poor, and they own this enormous farmhouse. And we have only recently become homeowners. And I'm like, imagine being poor and owning land. Because we were just, for 12 years, like until I was 40, I did not own a house. And I, like, the idea that people should not be resentful when they are less housed than poor people were 100 years ago is kind of crazy. Like, of course you're going to be upset about those sort of things.
Yeah, the economy's weird out there. Like my wife and I were just talking about something like some insurance rates that we have that the last 2 years, and we were even talking about that, like car tags on your license plate in Minneapolis or anything where it's, sorry, didn't see Sam. But like the insurance has gone up. Like 2 years ago, it went up like 95% or something. And then it went up like another 40% the next year. Or like license plate tags. Like even in Minneapolis, it's been essentially decriminalized. So they don't even pull you over for it anymore because Minneapolis doesn't have the police force, because in post George Floyd things, like they're understaffed hugely anyhow. And so like all these minor crimes, they don't even pull people over for anymore. But I'm just like, for example, the only people that pay like title license plate things in Minneapolis are like upper middle class law abiding citizens. Like nobody else even bothers, because why would you? Or even like car insurance. Like you're required to have car insurance in the state, but who do you think's buying that? Like the people that can't afford it, they're just like, whatever, I'm going to opt out of this. This is dumb. Like I can't pay for anything. Why would I pay for insurance? So then like that all becomes like for the people who are working and paying for all this stuff, it becomes a greater burden. And then they have greater insurance and greater litigation costs and greater things until eventually like the whole system just implodes because it's insolvent and doesn't work, you know? And like, I mean, I don't know the answer for these things. This is the same thing in the housing market. It's yeah, there are definitely problems. And then what often happens is like a lot of these things are dependent on policies, but then like this is what I said with my wife. Like if things become so expensive in Minneapolis at some point, like if they become like really expensive at some point, like guess what we'll do? Like if it becomes like unlivable, we'll leave. But guess who can't leave? Poor people. And so then like everything just
or rich people, right? Like in the UK, most high salaries are around London. If you don't geographically live around London, you just can't pull a salary like that. And then that's a completely different life. I mean, you could technically move, but it's not like you take that salary with you. And so you either put up with the London housing market or you have a completely different life, like radically different.
Yeah.
That is interesting that, you know, the UK is like a mono metropolis, whereas America has a lot more choices.
Similar to Japan as well. I think like 80% of Japanese people live around Tokyo.
Listen, if financial times get hard, everybody can always just move to Dallas. Except you have to live in Dallas then.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem with Dallas is Dallas. Well, we can move to Atlanta.
There you go.
And, you know, everyone loves Atlanta for its reasons.
PVK, what's the best U.S. city? Tell us. Out yourself. Oh, there it is.
San Antonio seems like, if I had to move to Texas, I think San Antonio would be a
the
good
Riverwalk's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, is it too loud, like noisy? I'm kind of in a public space, so let me know.
I mean, not so far.
Just let me know. I just want to plus one the move towards more levity. Encourage you on that front. I'm a big fan. It feels like if you can laugh in the chaos, then that's a sign that you're doing all right. Another, the economic point is interesting. Something I've been thinking about a lot recently. I heard President Foxman talking to Ethan about basically like nihilism is a response to being like too aware of everything. So you're trying to care about the whole globe. And then it's like the response to say, actually, I need to care very much less. And then you kind of go too far and you're like, I don't care about anything. And I think economically, I've been considering more of how critical sort of local social relations are in order for wealth, and sort of like just sustenance and getting by. That was very much true in my hometown where I grew up, where we were more in a rural setting, and it was definitely an economically depressed area. We all kind of knew that, but we were just like, this is how it is. And you rely on your neighbors for things, and you rely on you're not mediating everything through market transaction. Whereas here, where I'm in more of a metro Detroit area now, it's like, if I want to mediate something to get done, like a babysitter or like all kinds of silly little human things that normally a person would just, like call on and have connection, have network of people, you kind of have to go to the app and like go through this quantified mechanistic kind of market process. So I don't know. This is a pro localism, I'm all about it. But also I saw Alan and he disappeared, so I don't know what happened, but hey, PK.
I had a question before even Paul showed up. What are Peugeot and Vervaeke like up to? Especially for Vervaeke. I feel like the horsemen of the TLC or whatever they would be called. It's sort of like I don't really I don't see where they're going and how that relates to each other anymore, especially for Vervaeke.
They peaked at Midwestuary.
They peaked. I know.
After that, what do you do, right?
I think
it's down from there.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you say wasn't most of? I mean, they have other sources of revenue, right? But most of their fame and revenue was coming through their proximity to Peterson, and then he'd chosen to do the Daily Wire stuff, and then Danny gave him an ego injury which has broken his spirit, and now his daughter's making up that he has mold poisoning, and he won't talk to anyone since moving to Arizona. So he's not
who's Danny, and what was the ego?
I love this classification.
Danny used to come on my streams all the time. He argued with like Pine Creek and stuff, and then he was on Jubilee, and he's the guy who he's the guy who hurt Jordan Peterson's feelings the most.
Oh yeah, that guy. What did he say? What was the tagline?
He was like, well, you're really something, and then Danny was like, well, you're not a something like that.
Yeah, you're
really nothing.
You're really quite nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're really quite nothing. That was it.
Yeah. I would say that Pajot's whole thing has actually been that he's not interested in commentary. He's actually much more interested in just being an artist. And then people are like, will you do lectures for us? And he's like, I guess, if you want me to. Like, he just wants to be an Orthodox Christian and make his art that doesn't make any sense to the rest of us. And everyone just keeps on bothering him to explain everything and saying that we enjoy it. And I would say the same thing about Vervaeke, is like, Vervaeke's got his own thing. You know, he wants to do his lectures. He wants to be a professor. You know, the whole thing, the great tragedy of Peterson really is that that's not what happened to him. The whole Daily Wire thing is it's just like Luke, if someone paid you to become a political commentator, like, can you imagine how much? World. Or Sam, Sam, I get it. You're like a super brilliant dude. I respect you and everything. If you got paid,
talk about me, but with more compliments, like you did for Sam again. Now,
I'm gonna take that as it was directed to me, even though I know it wasn't. But I'm just ride that high.
Take it.
Second. What is that?
Okay,
secondary high.
If Luke got picked up to become an influencer, like a house husband influencer, okay, and he's like baking bread in his booty shorts and like all that other stuff, this I would no longer be interested. You know.
I mean, how short are the booty shorts, though?
Yeah, Peterson is an example of that guy who wins the lottery and as a result gets hooked on crack.
I would want Jordan Peterson's money just to buy dope suits. I'd buy a lot of cool clothes.
But then you'd end up buying a couple of really dumb suits. They're not all winners.
And they're eccentric, you know. He's an eccentric, funny, weird guy. Yeah,
no, I think you're right. Jonathan Pajot doesn't like making YouTube videos. He has to make one once a month for his Patreon, and so he does. It's just true. He likes having conversations with people he wants to talk to, and so he's okay videoing them. But Jonathan is a starving artist who has found a way to live and be an artist. Vervaeke is John Vervaeke. And, it was just sort of the Peterson thing that brought the three of us together. And in some ways, I was always a tag on. The original Thunder Bay conference was just going to be John and Jonathan. And Catherine contacted me and said, oh, maybe you should come too. So that's it. And I like doing what I like doing too. It's just, I like doing this.
Yeah, that's kind of the same for me. And I relate to that with Jonathan. Like, really, there's very few public intellectuals I would want to talk to. Sam, I love your channel and your stuff and the people you talk to, but mainly that's because I like you. I like you and Hank going through Church Fathers because that's interesting to me. But like Dr. James Tabor, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care about this guy. Like
he was actually really nice when the camera was.
I'm sure he's nice.
Like nice. He was even pastoral towards me, which was interesting of him.
Yeah, and that's that's if you would have recorded that stuff.
He even sent me like some of his books in the mail after. Gave me more of his free books.
I did think about reaching out to, and maybe I will eventually, but Brian E. Daly, who wrote like the seminal work on Leontius of Byzantium, because that's the new Christology like thing
No,
that I'm really.
I need to get off my bias against Leontius of Byzantium. But all I know about him is he invented one of my least favorite ideas.
To me, when I read about it, I'm like, yeah, that's basically just like technical language about what I've been talking about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a huge blow up over n hypostatic unions.
Yeah.
I was just going to comment that it's interesting that the three people that all conglomerate around Peterson, in some ways, he's like the least profitable as a professor, but like Pajot as the artist and Vervaeke as the scientist and PVK, you're the religious official, and all three of those professions all starve, at least in our country, you know, like so this idea of like being attracted to some amount of leverage is fascinating to me.
But
Maybe I watched.
is this the OG Rose? Like, you only play guitar if it can make money, though.
Yeah,
No,
right.
it's Paul is only interested in doing this if it ensures he's still poor. I think that's like it's essential, right? Like,
Rod, cover your ears.
There's a certain amount of like Peterson would brag about like, well, I'm a capitalist and so I don't see any problem in this and everything else. And it's just like if Paul, if you were invited to become the pastor at a mega church, would you accept that invitation? You interested? What if becoming this mega church pastor kept Living Stones afloat? Right, like that's that would be the temptation for you.
We'll redo First Reformed movie plot, and I'll be adopted by some mega church just to keep my little church open.
Yeah.
I would watch you in First Reform just for that floating scene.
I'm not wrapping myself in barbed wire.
If you think of writers who like they're trying to, the Barton Fink is an example of this, where there's a guy who's like, I write for the everyman, but he does not give a shit what the everyman says, right? And you'll see this where someone will become like a respected writer, and then their writing tanks because it's just like, you're not actually, this is something you're supposed to do while living a regular life.
So I was going to say, I wonder about scalability here because like, I'm wondering if the truth is scalable. That's one of the things that we say when we're like looking for absolute truth or objective truth, but I don't think it's scalable. I think it's like relative in the sense that you need to be relating to it immediately. So once you get past your Dunbar number, and I know that's like cliche or whatever, but like it's biological. So just say 150 people, then you can't have a shared understanding of the truth. And Peterson is a big truth guy, you know, like say the truth or at least don't lie. And the truth is the adventure of your life. And all. It's like he got to a place where he thought he could leverage his platform and his influence and the millions of people following him to do more good, which is always the, you know, satanic lie. And it broke him. But also, I don't know that it landed because of what you're saying about these writers that get disconnected.
That's one of the reasons I left paid ministry. It was to shame the church, for lack of a better term. Is like, I wanted to do things and people were like, well, someone actually said, the pastor's name was Brad. They used the wording because someone asked me to preach. And so I talked to the people and they were like, okay, so someone asked me to preach. I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to. And they said, well, we pay Brad and we want to get our money's worth. And it was like, people couldn't wrap their heads around the idea. Like I've seen pastors where it's like, they wouldn't, there's people who I don't know if they'd be Christians if they weren't paid to be, right? Where it's like, even the form of Christianity that they practice, it's like, well, yeah, you read the Bible, whatever, 3 times in a year. It's because you have you have hours that you are paid to do that, right? That's a very different lifestyle than the rest of us.
That's why I left paid ministry too. And I preach more now, like, in the off hours than I did then, 1,000%. Not just on stage either, just mean in general.
But then, so you would fail if you're trying to be an example for average people, you then fail if you're positioned as an exemplary.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah, it becomes not realistic.
Yeah, I was
Also-
listening to.
Sorry,
Sorry.
quick aside. We can get back to the fun stuff, but I just want to let everyone know that apparently, I think February 26th or something, you can wear hats. You can wear red stocking hats with everyone in Minneapolis, out of like solidarity. It's something to do with like Nazis. I can't remember. My neighbor across the alley was telling
With or
me about
against?
shoveling snow. So I don't really know
Are
what
we-
it's about. But it's like Nazis are bad,
Okay.
You
Okay.
can't wear red hats.
huh?
You can't wear red
No, you're
hats.
supposed to wear red hats because the Nazis like outlawed them or something at some point. I don't know.
Right.
He was telling me about something. I don't, and I'm just like, I don't watch the news. I don't know what any of this is. And my only social media is this, which does not tell me about Nazi hats.
Speaking of red, PBK's got some beats there. He's trying to shill. I think we could get a smoothie brand going. It could be Beats by PBK.
Ooh, and McMo could
Love it.
make some beats.
Yes. Put it all together, put it in a jar, ship that across the nation. You don't even need to be a mega pastor to make that kind
I'm
of
the
dough.
new Paul Newman. I'm gonna hook up with Sam. We're gonna promote old Porsches. It's gonna be awesome.
Great.
Sorry,
Is there gonna be?
Ian, go ahead. Sorry.
I was I kind of lost it in the Nazi thing that threw me off. It's just like it's a big monkey brain trigger right there. But I was thinking about the being an exemplar in your community is actually the thing that makes you a failure to your community. It's sort of like the hero's journey. It's what David was trying to say. I don't know if I just messed it up by the way I encapsulated it, but I was listening to Jocko Willink on the Sean Ryan show from a couple months ago. It's like a 6-hour episode for the troops because they have nothing to do on the holidays. That was cool. But I really resonated with Jocko talking about his leadership style of like being one of the guys. He learned it from another commanding officer where he's a new guy to the platoon, new leader for the platoon. And he was taking out the garbage and sweeping the floor. And Jocko said, that's not even like a new guy thing. That's like a new guy who's in trouble thing. And, you know, the whole servant leadership is overblown. And the problem, David, is when you're paid to do ministry. And so then your job becomes servanthood, you know, like, well, I'm serving you by public speaking for 45 minutes every Sunday. That's not necessarily exemplary because who's public speaking for 45 minutes in their religious service if you're the one that's doing it all the time? So I was thinking about the pyramid, you know, on the dollar bill, the top of it is separate. It's other than the hierarchy. And I know it's like Illuminati or whatever, but Peterson would reference that as like the pinnacle is above the rest of stuff. So maybe, is that just bad? Like, is that why it's Illuminati? It's no good and it's not the Christian ideal of hierarchy?
I would say my understanding of the ideal hierarchy is that it becomes more like a tree. So you've got this sort of higher vision, which is represented by the symbol of a pyramid, and you've got the kind of kingdom of Shalom, which is represented by something like a tree or the tree of life or something like that. And that is it's a lot more like an inverted pyramid. Obviously, you've got root structure, but that's phenomenologically not seen. You've got a trunk and then the fruit kind of come out of that. So if you want to be a trunk, an exemplary, you're going to support the rest of the tree, pass the nutrients up to the rest of the tree. I think it's super critical to have exemplary people in your community, whatever that means, globally, whatever this is, TLC wise, someone you can like look to aspire to. I've been asking myself, who are the exemplary folks of this era? Is it like, because it's not the people we all know, it's not the people who got the most numbers. The numbers lie. The numbers of like subscribers or views, that's not the metric by which we can assess who's doing this thing right. So in TLC land, I like that it sort of has inverted the hierarchy, where the hierarchy isn't based on the principle of reach or audience or growth or anything like that.
Yeah,
What
that's
is
the
the-
Jocko
what is
thing.
the hierarchy?
Decentralized leadership.
That's a good question,
And
Luke.
Luke
I
is my
don't.
exemplar.
You serve as that in a big way, Luke. I mean, PBK does that for us. I think Peugeot for me does that. You know, he's very charitable in his speech and that kind of thing. I think that's why we have these figures that we kind of hold up and talk about, and they tend to influence us more. Mr. Tiedemann, who was on here, the exemplary Sam, for a fellow Sam, wanted to be one of the great Sams. You know, those ways of communicating, which is earnest and sincere and, you know, curious and charitable and all of that, I think, and rich, and not just, you know, and not daft by any stretch of the imagination. There's an erudition that is hard to find even among you mentioned Chris Williamson, who's like, oh, he's so smart or whatever. It's like, maybe he's just got a lot of views. Like, I think there's levels of intellect, you know, we find among you can get to just because you have shared, you can have these conversations in these spaces.
To be clear, I'm not against PVK taking a check. Not in principle, at least.
As long
like
as
I'm not
gives me
against
some of it.
But I think that, you know, there's an issue with having a prophetic voice. A prophetic voice is not going to be something that's going to be accepted by everyone by its very nature. Like, people don't want correction. So
Why they don't like my truth? The truth I'm always spitting. All my prophetic voices.
It's one of the big. Yeah, go ahead.
David, is that how you conceive of this group? Because I would really be curious, because I've thought of it in that way sometimes too. Almost, you know, there's like those group of prophets hanging out and making their prophecies, and then Saul shows up and he's just like, he goes a little nuts because he can't handle it. And I kind of think sometimes we're kind of like, I don't want to be overly, I'm too Midwest to think myself of anything like a character of to aspire to in scriptural literary representation. But I do wonder, is this a place, it's out on the margins, we just kind of go out here, we hang, we vibe, we riff, we talk about all the things that are broken and not working, and we see all these things, and then we're trying to like find ways to insert that into the main like conversations to say like,
yeah,
guys,
Saul is a perfect example. And as it relates to earlier in the book of Judges, there's something called the parable of the trees. Do you know the parable of the trees? You got to learn the parable of the trees. Luke, you would love the parable of the trees. It is artsy bullshit that you would love.
Tell us.
Listen to me that God may listen to you. One day the trees decided that they would appoint a king over themselves. So they went to the fig tree and they said, you should come and reign over us. And the fig tree said, look, man, I'm busy. I can't have sway over the trees. I'm making figs. I'm creating these things that are already useful that people are, I'm busy. I can't do it. So the trees went over to the olive tree and they said, you come reign over us. And the olive tree said, I can't hold sway over the trees. I'm making oil, which people use to gladden their faces, that brighten, like that anoint, that make people king. I have things that I am already doing. So then they go to the grapevine and they say, you should reign over us. And the grapevine says, I can't. Like, I'm making wine to cheer the hearts of God and man. Like, I'm making grapes. I can't do this. So then the trees go to the bramble and they say, you reign over us. And he says, okay, sure, I can be your king. You guys can come and have shade under me. But if anything goes wrong, everything is going to go up in flames. That's the end. That's the end of the parable.
I do love it. You're right.
Trees. It's in the middle of Judges. It's just this like guy says a poem and you just go, what? And I think that we should read it every time we elect anyone, like right beforehand, because, you know, there's a series of problems, but the people that we want to be king is Saul. You know, is Saul also among the prophets becomes an expression after that. And we want someone who is not the right person to be in charge, to be the one coming forward.
Well, that's what people often say, you know, I mean, we talk about this, that like anybody who would want power or authority or whatever is probably the kind of person who would not want it. at all times, which is kind of like the David, he was like, I will not stand against the Lord's anointed. He's like, no way, not doing it until it's the right time. And that's the person that should be leading, but they don't want to lead. But look at you guys, we are blessed. We are blessed. Look at this guy.
I was going to a church at one point, and it was a Middle Eastern Baptist church. And one of the things that they believed in is they only had lay pastors, and they didn't trust someone that wasn't also successful outside of the church. Because otherwise you're just that like youth pastor that we've all met that is like, thank God someone's paying you for this. Because otherwise I can't imagine you'd be doing anything.
Jess, what's up? You should talk to us.
I'm just joining. I was working and listening, and I didn't get to hear the end of the tree parable.
It's really good.
I feel like David's told that before, and I should know it.
Sometimes it takes a few times to sink in. The bramble wants to be king.
The bramble did.
No, the bramble's the only one who can be made king.
Right.
All the other trees are busy. They have their own things going on.
Selfish trees.
Yeah.
My main question is like, how can we make some money, or like, how can we leverage all this and cash out?
I do wonder, this isn't necessarily a joke, I do wonder if there's some creative venture that will manifest out of all this, whether it's sometimes, I don't know how commercializable any of this is, to be honest, and I don't even want, there's a sense I know we have in the TLC of like something when it becomes money, when it's like tainted or something, and I don't think that's exactly accurate. But I think there's likely some, I just kind of like have to do this on the side because I have to like devote a ton of time to like actually making cash, and it'd be nice if there's some way to like do this and make cash because this is more fun, but
a lot
who
of
knows?
people got very rich off of this stuff. I mean, during COVID, Jordan Peterson was moaning not about people dying from the illness or anything like that, but about how difficult it was for him to purchase jet skis. And then months later, after moaning about that, Jonathan Peugeot was pictured on the back of his jet ski because the two of them were on holiday together.
Florida.
There are a lot of people who have spelt out the blueprint for how to make lots and lots of money in this space. And you essentially just have to justify incredibly prejudiced political views with theological stories. And there's a big market for that.
That's the thing.
So let's do it.
I can't come down one side.
I do take your point, Nathan, but in his defense, 5 people died of COVID. So, I know more people that were hospitalized.
You're right.
There's mental health things.
I agree. There's hundreds of thousands of excess deaths. Both things are true, that nobody died from COVID, and there are hundreds of thousands of excess deaths which must have been caused by the vaccine. Both of those are true at the same time.
Okay, back to Jess's question. How is this making us money?
I just wanted to make sure Luke couldn't make money on this stream.
Sure.
Thank you.
I think there's something though about, there is the reality of if you provide value at a kind of scale that Peterson did, that there is some return in the world of reciprocity. I think that's just true. How it ends up, how you end up harvesting that is, the mechanism by which you do that is one thing or another. We live in a world millions and millions of people were given something good from Peterson. And so he, I haven't given millions of people something good. So I don't anticipate the same kind of return or reward. And I think there's something to that, just in the sense of if you invest in the created order of things, there's some sort of harvest of return, you reap what you sow. As a gift, it's all sowing seeds. Here's a seed, throw it out there, whatever happens.
Yeah.
What about, who's the guy who has the creepy laugh? Ha ha ha! That
Bezos?
No, he's a pastor, and he's multi-million.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I don't know.
I forgot
We're not-
his name, but
I know who you're
like,
talking about. He
like,
blew at
Joel
COVID.
Osteen's one, you know, like yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
presumably you don't. I mean, maybe you do. I guess
No, I agree.
Question. Yeah, you don't think that that means that you've done something good or moral if you've got lots of money.
No, I don't think it's one equals the other. Money, back to the views thing. I don't think views or like money is a sign you've succeeded. It's just, I don't think. Oh, I'll take that. I wish.
mean,
Am I right?
I kind of follow like, well, it ends up coming in my feed, like some like just mainstream Christian stuff that's popular, and I don't know what they're talking about half the time, and like, you know, it's like 5 billion views on a video about like how Christians should approach social media. There's like, you know, and then it's just some popular guy that I don't know how he became popular. I have no idea, you know, whether it's organic or whether he's got like an organization behind him, kind of, or if it's some of both, or, you know, and, you know, my wife kind of listens to more of that mainstream stuff than I do. So she'll kind of bring stuff up, and like, none of it's interesting to me. And I don't know how to make any of this like interesting to people that aren't interested in it. Yeah. Other than we could try to make it into some sort of Gnostic mystery cult, but that kind of goes against the spirit of openness and conversation. That kind of makes this fun. We'd have to like close the doors and, you know.
Yeah, that's always been my struggle, is like how I don't know the answer of how to make money without selling your soul. Like I do.
I'd be okay if we have to like meet in secret. I'm okay with that, but I'm not kissing any boys.
No, we're not doing that part of the.
Okay.
Well, I think
being more of a homophobe, Dave. All right.
Like the question I asked though before about like whether money means you're moral or not, I think you could put the same thing about people being genuinely convinced of what they're saying as well, right? I think you can point to many examples of people who espouse ideological views, make a lot of money, and an easier one with this group to go for might be, I don't know, like Tupac's mum who was in the Black Panthers or something like that, right? But because it'll just, but I mean, I think that Peterson is an example of this, and so Peugeot and Viveki, where they've made a lot of money off of finding a market for their ideas, which I think are mostly ideologically driven. And the point being that you don't have to like cynically sit back and be like, how do I manipulate people to make money? You can just be very convinced of a particular set of ideas and find a market for them, right?
Oh, people love just that kind of confidence for sure. Quick admin thing. Do you guys? I figured out how to reload my media assets. So this is the one that Kalepa made for me, the Woo Salt Bay. But I also like this one. This is a childhood picture of me living in my single wide trailer.
I feel like I have that exact same picture of me.
Where I was drinking, but I'm drinking but I'm holding a Budweiser.
You're drinking a Budweiser?
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Dang, the 80s, man.
Dude, this is, you know, that's my upbringing right there. Also, I decided that my hat looks like Elmo, and so every once in a while, like Elmo's mouth. So every once in a while, I just want to just be like,
you need two
Elmo voice
eyes up on the top.
I should.
Two little ping pong balls up there.
That's when if Claire comes on, just to treat her really seriously.
Then you just duck down like this and can talk for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there you go.
That does look like a puppet. That looks like a sock puppet for sure.
See, then you could have a dialogical conversation with yourself.
I like that.
My wife said it was okay to talk to you, but I'm kind of scared.
Dude, this is the Dialogos train.
All right, let's we're at about 2 hours. I think it's time for final words or, you know, whatever. No, I will sell my body. I will. I think gigolo is about as ethical as almost any, you know, job there is out there. Dang. So also right. there is a TLC gigolo, right? PVK, you spoke to him, right? Cyprian or the old, what was his name? He was on the Showtime show Gigolo.
He was like a Bitcoin gigolo.
Yeah, he was a big Bitcoin guy, but now he converted to Orthodoxy. But did I?
The Royal Path guy.
Huh?
Is he the Royal Path podcast? That guy, Cyprian?
He might be. Is his name Cyprian? It probably
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the same guy. And then I
Okay.
convinced my wife for a while that we should watch the show Gigolos, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. It's not a good show. She was just like, "What are we watching?" And I was just like, "Listen, it's okay."
It's porn with extra steps.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's interesting.
Weird porn.
Boomer blaming. Yeah,
This stream could have been interesting if you had stuck. I here's a hot take: is boomer blaming just cope?
Oh shit. Okay, give me 30 seconds. Let's go around the round. Let's go round table. Is boomer blaming cope? Say that 3 times fast.
I'd like to say something in the end. I think what we got to while wandering was actually something that I think you were trying to get at in the first bit. The thing behind the thing. The idea that we're actually trying to discern what people are doing and why, right? So like for instance, if you take Claire at face value, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. They're getting at something completely different. And anytime she upsets you, Luke, I'm just like, don't do it. Don't do it, right? Like it's
I don't
not
think
even
she does
about
anymore. I'm just playing.
But with things like watching people as they make money, it's the same thing. It's trying to understand what the actual motivations are for people behind what seems to be the front face of why they're doing that thing, right?
It's hard to do that without like projecting or psychoanalyzing. I mean, I think I agree with you, and I think
so
Jesus
do it.
is super good at
just
it.
do it. Project, psychoanalyze, do it.
I try not to, man. I already think of my opinions too highly without psychoanalyzing people. All right. Anybody else? Last word?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think part of this is, at least for me, what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to like step back from being like, I get the big picture abstract thing of how reality works in my head and try and like go back to like square one, which is more like, I think about that parable of Jack and the Beanstalk. He goes up and gets food first. Like that's foundation. And then like how to make money, he takes from the giant second. And you can think of the boomers maybe as these giants that aren't like giving you access into the world of how to make money. You kind of have to go out there and steal it and figure it out yourself. Like, maybe some of our parents taught you that, maybe not. I don't know. I'm grateful for what I got from my parents. I'm not trying to, throw them under the bus. See this? Thank you, parents. But then there's the next level, which is the music of the spheres. That is like how reality plays and the beautiful dance we call life and the beholding and the becoming and all of this sort of thing. And I, as a just kind of personality, is like, oh, I want to do that thing first before I figured out you got to climb the ladder of, Jesus was a carpenter, but he was the, prophet, priest, being the Messiah that everybody flocks to. And so it forces me into literally I had a flat tire this morning and I was like, this is hard reality that I have to deal with. And it's like just the thing that you can't, it's like, this is embodied presence, it was like very like mental toughness right here, right now, and working on computers, it's so like easy to think like, oh, I don't want to like do things and make money and like I've succeeded in life. And the reality is like, there's a rubber meeting the road, like there it is, that can humble and force you into like, okay, this is my path, my journey, this is where I'm at, and don't gotta, that's my thing behind the thing right now, I guess, maybe. Wrap it up.
Jess.
I don't have anything to say, I guess.
That's fine. You don't have to.
I mean, good stream. Solid crew showed up today. Very solid. Just happy to be here.
Nice. I'm happy you're here. Close us out, Ariel.
You didn't let Nathan.
That's Ariel. He just wants to kiss his fish.
Okay.
Oh, that's what he.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Don't be shy. Just give us a last word.
You get the reference, right? Or no?
Kiss the girl.
From the Turning Point USA halftime show.
Oh
I
no,
just
I don't
want
know
to
anything
kiss my
about that.
fish, drink my beer, drive my truck. You know?
Was that?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that. That sounds
Christ,
awesome.
something or other. I don't know.
Missed it.
On the what's he called? I think whether like I don't think it's entirely cope hating on the boomers. I think that it comes from a place of frustration, right? And all cope comes from a place of frustration. What I think there's a genuine analysis though of people acting in very selfish ways in order to have a slightly better quality of life for themselves when they already have very good lives, and being unwilling to make very small sacrifices to make other people's lives significantly better when it comes to things like housing, having better jobs, and being able to start a family, things like that. Like one example that's particular to the UK, won't be directly analogous in the US, is that university education used to be free in the UK until the mid 2000s. So basically, all millennials have hundreds of thousands of pounds of debt, unless they're already born into wealth, right? And their parents paid their tuition fees. And then there's 6-7% interest on those loans. So that you've got people who are essentially paying off all of that money forever, which is just another barrier to the job market that another generation of people never had. And so that, and then their additional money that they were able to get in their time with their free education went into cheaper houses where, you know, houses as a proportion of wages costed far less. And also, you know, there's all sorts of other things that you can look at in terms of just how competitive the job market was, or how much you'd have to work to afford certain types of things in life, right? So I do think there's a legitimate analysis to be given where you could redistribute wealth from people who have accumulated it and just sit on it and don't do anything with it to people who are actually productive. But
yeah, I think the government could definitely incentivize people to invest in certain ways that help other people. I mean, there are ways that they do that. I just don't know that people take advantage of the ways that are helpful to people in other classes. But yeah. Ian, you came back. Do you have a last word?
I do. The last word was sort of like with the confessionalism idea. Like you gotta say that you're a part of us in order to be a part of us, rather than be authentic in order to be who you are to actually fit in with the group. And I was thinking that in some ways, the interesting thing about Sam's Jess's how do we make money out of this is connected to this idea of like identitarianism is extremely profitable, like Nathan was saying. But I think the reason that Chris Williamson is so good is because he is a marketable authenticist or something like that. I don't think that he just gets views by hacking the base of people's brain stems, but I think he does do that to some extent. So it's like he's like impure in both directions. He's authentic, but only to a certain extent, and he's marketable, but only to a certain extent. And so this admixture of trying to be effective, you know, what you win them with is what you win them to, or something like that. I just think that in the intellectual space we can get very one or the other. This is why the TLC doesn't like people making shorts, but we do like people wearing shorts. And then the church space, like you can't think differently because that's just a headache. This is just a problem for what we're trying to do here. So anyway, I appreciated today's stream a whole lot, and I really enjoy the way that David Bustil can throw something out like from his Arabic Baptist church that is wiser than most of my church experiences. And so let's keep doing this, and maybe making money on the side is the better idea.
I'm not even Middle Eastern, by the way, but everyone who was Middle Eastern thought that I was Middle Eastern. So like a whole bunch of people when they met me. Like a Palestinian guy, when he first met me, would just went, "So, David, did you convert from Islam?" Like, no, I converted from Catholicism.
You're the pirate of our flotilla.
Yeah.
All right.
This little ring.
Well, thank everyone for coming. We'll end with another Chad branding, but until next time, meow meow.
Meow meow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. I left 9 comments on the Glenn Sunshine conversation. And he did his whole randos in the PM. He was
Nice.
like, I'm not sure
Good
I
work.
understand. Let's see. I left. What's counting?